Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Those Aren't Biscuits. Things may be looking kind of different for you today, and that's on purpose. Me and Owen, we've been doing this for a long time, and we decided that let's get right out and say it. Playing the video games while we try to do our traditional show wasn't really working well for us.
It wasn't? Gasp.
Oh no! How could we have ever have known?
Gasp. Guffaw. Stuff.
So yeah, we're going with the new different setup. So you're not gonna see any sort of gameplay or anything like that. What you see on the screen right now is what's going to be up there for the show. And we hope you guys like it.
Yeah.
But we feel like not having the game to focus on means that we can have a better conversation. We can joke around more. We can be more into it.
Yeah, so if people
we had viewers from last week, if you guys remember our 30-minute discussion about the rapper Snow at the end of the stream,
there's gonna be more of that. Oh, good. Well, that went well. I immediately lost John. Hello, everybody. Hopefully you can still hear me, and I'm going to see if we can get John back. He might pop in and out for the moment. This is the downside of a new technical issue. We're currently using Discord to record this, so we're in a little recording room, and we seem to be having just a few minor issues. Hey, John, you're back! We couldn't hear you.
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, we've noticed it while we were talking before we even started the stream that we were having some issues, so we're hoping that they are minimum.
Long story short, we might end up using Skype again.
Yeah,
one day. That might basically sort it. So for people who don't know, this used to be a podcast that was not live and a kind of a different style of show, and then we switched to the live shows, and it became kind of a different thing. And I think we just generally got the feeling that we wanted to move back to the ability to kind of get into a conversation and not be too sidetracked by the games all the time, which was genuinely making it very difficult, I think, to have a proper back and forth. And I think we've lost John again. Have we lost you, John, again? Or
no, I'm still here. I'm just being a good little listener.
Oh, that's adorable. That's new and no, it's good. See, this is what's different. When we're on the PlayStation, it's legitimately difficult because people often think we're always talking over each other and interrupting each other, and we are a little bit, but the PlayStation has quite a delay, so sometimes it is genuinely difficult, A, to know when someone's talking, and B, to know if this is the kind of interruption where you're gonna need to stop. Like, John said something there mid-sentence, and I managed to slow down and hear what he was saying, and then pick up afterwards. There's a better flow with the more immediate chat.
Right. So yeah, we'll just get back into it real quick. If you are new to the show, this is a live streaming talk show, and where we talk about pop culture topics normally. Everything from movies to music to books, to comic books, television, and everything in between. And we do it with you guys giving some input. You guys ask us questions, you can leave comments, you can suggest topics for us to talk on. We're pretty open to what you guys want to talk about in the chat. Just be nice about it.
And I might actually go back to occasionally introducing the show as well, because the reason I stopped doing that was because it's actually a pain to get that stream set up from your PlayStation and then jump into the chat and make sure everything's live. So I might actually get some credibility for like running the show again for a change. Like I'm short on that.
Well, let's ease up there. All right, just cool your jets there, hotshot.
Oh, I see. You've become attached to the role.
I took it with fire and steel and blood.
As I recall, I couldn't be bothered doing it and trying to get the stream one day and said, "You do it." Is that how we define this now?
Fire and steel and blood.
All right. Calm down, Jonathan. So, this is usually the part of the show where we say, "What have you been doing this week?" What have you been doing this week, John?
Well, I've had a, I guess fairly slow week.
Okay.
Not a lot's been going on. I did have a fun little moment yesterday at the gym. I decided that I was going to switch up my routine a little bit, because normally when I go to the gym, I usually do some bit of cardio before I do some weightlifting or some other exercise, be it core floor exercise stuff or punching bag or weights,
and not skipping leg day.
And definitely not skipping leg day. And I do lift, bro. Right. I take the pain train to Swoleville.
Isn't that a song by the Monkees? I really hope that awkward silence is just him not knowing what to say. Hey John, you back? I've got 3 bars on Discord again. This is working out really well. Hi, John. Okay. Welcome back.
Yeah. Okay.
This is going so great, isn't it? Do we need something different?
What's that?
Do we need something different for this?
Well, we already started. Let's just soldier on through.
Let's roll with it. Let's take our time. Say what you say. Don't let anybody get in your way. This is all too much for me to take. Is that the plan?
Word.
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll actually just, because this is just a scrolling animation, I'll actually just notch down the bitrate on the stream, and then if there's a small chance that that's causing or making the issues worse, it'll just tweak that on a little bit. We don't need a lot of bitrate for our rolling animation, I don't think.
Hello, Chicken Lisa. Welcome.
Hey, Chicken Lisa. Hello to Tiny Bet Secret, who says, "But you two will still play games other times, right? Because I like choosing sides."
Yeah. This actually does free us up to do other live stream with games and stuff when people not getting confused about what's the weekly show and what is this them fucking about.
Yeah. I mean, that's the same thing, right? That's the gist of it.
Well, yeah, there's more hand action with the games. You know what I mean?
Beg your pardon?
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I mean.
Cool. Oh, we've reached the part of the animation where you can see the edge of the pinwheel picture I took. That's great. On the corners, you can you can see the white corners just come in a little bit. I didn't notice that the first time around. But that's good.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm at the gym, right? And I decided I'm gonna go do some weightlifting and okay, get this done. And I'm on this thing. I think it's called the curl bar, which you might have seen it. Well, maybe you haven't, Owen, but some other people might have seen this.
I've been to a gym. I've had a gym initiation.
Yeah, was he gentle?
I find that offensive.
Is your name Jim?
No.
Huh. So
it's great because now we have to play. Is this an awkward silence or is this Discord going again?
Chicken League says so. No game tonight. No game.
Except the game of life.
The stream. Yeah, we're playing the most dangerous game. Life.
Man.
No, we've decided that we're going to go back to our original format for these shows, which was no game, just us talking, and now we're adding the live element to it.
Right, it's a combination.
We're hoping for some interaction.
It's like when they have like okay, no, this analogy's not going to work, but I'm going to run with it. It's like when they cast a new version of the Doctor and he's a little bit like an old version. It's not great at all. It's like 3 Doctors in. This is terrible. It's all falling apart, John.
We are on Tom Baker right now, and you're
the engines can't take it, Captain. The analogy's falling apart at the seams.
I miss it when the Doctor used the Force.
Okay.
Anyways, so I'm at the gym. I'm using this thing called a curl bar, which is kind of this little squiggly, bendy bar that you use, and you curl with it. You just bring it up and down and up and down.
John's just
And,
there. Just takes the whole piece of gym equipment and just throws it out on the ice. There's little people with the brooms just rushing across. That's not what that means. But
left. Slow down.
It's just barreling through with all the momentum you would expect of a piece of gym equipment thrown out onto a polished frozen surface. The spectators start running to get out of the way. It's not gonna stop.
You stick in there and you broom, you little bastards. Broom.
My legs.
Sweep. That's the actual verb. Sweep.
Broom. You broom. Still with us, John? This is working out great, isn't it? Oh my god, Discord has screwed up the show so much already. Week one of this version of doing it. Hey! Hi, John.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah!
No?
No, I can hear
Nothing?
you. No, I can hear you, John. How you doing? Oh, he can't hear us. Okay, John, don't... You can't hear me,
No.
but don't say anything offensive. Hi,
Oh,
John.
Hi.
Yeah, we could hear you the whole time. I was really worried you'd be... I know.
You're gonna start busting out slurs?
I know what you like when we're off stream.
Oh, good.
So you still with us, John?
Yeah, sort of. My phone's ringing.
What's great is Discord's working great. Now you've got some background noise in there.
Yeah, it's a swell situation we got going on here. Well, this is usually what happens the first time we try something new like this. So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
that's life. When you gonna answer that?
No.
You're not gonna answer that on stream for us?
No, not at all. I wouldn't have answered that in real life without a stream.
John comes from an ancient tribe who still hasn't caught up with the concept of a phone yet. I wouldn't answer that. It's not a person, Owen. What are you talking about?
I think I'm actually more in tune with the modern society anyways. Like, no one answers their phone anymore. It's like, nah.
Text me on my house phone.
Yeah, I think everyone has that kind of mentality where it's like, oh my god, someone's actually calling me on my cell phone? Like, what?
You gotta go find where you accidentally wallpapered over it 3 months ago. Like, where is my... where is my phone? What is this?
I think my wall's growing a tumor. What is that?
Someone put my cell phone in this plastic box.
So I'm at the gym and I'm using this machine or not machine, it's just the bar. And I'm going, and out of I hear this ping noise, and the whole little cylinder where you put the weights on just fell off. Not the little spring clampy thing that you use to keep the weights, tight. The whole thing just fell off.
Did you break it by being too manly?
Oh yeah. I flexed my massive guns and snapped steel.
I don't think that's true. So,
Rob Chaosity says, "Hi, I'm new. Been listening for 10 minutes and I'm dead."
Hi, new. I'm Owen. Hey.
I'm sorry to hear that, Rob. Rest in peace.
Oh, great. I managed to put something on with sound. Good. Great. No, great. Oh, that's a terrific game.
So the one side just falls off, and if you have any idea of how physics works, I now have all of the other weight on the other side with nothing to balance it. So it basically goes pink, slam. Oh shit. Boom! And I just go over to the other side. And I just tumble off the little like seat I'm on. And the funny thing, I knew that I was in that gym alone. Right? There was no one else there. But I immediately sprained my feet and looked around like, who saw me do this? Like my social anxiety was so strong that I was able to completely forget an undeniable fact and fear for what someone had seen me do.
See, the way this usually goes for me is, I know the gym is empty, or the room is empty, or the canteen is empty, or the street is empty. And then something hilariously embarrassing happens, and I'm like, well, at least I'm in an empty gym. And then turn around to see, I don't know, the nuns' annual trip to the gym tour bus pulling just arriving in time to see me embarrassment. Oh, are you going again, John?
No, I'm here.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so that's a rough position to be in.
No, I can imagine.
Yeah. Wasn't a fan. Didn't enjoy that. Once again, Rob Chiosity says, wait, that's Owen Adams? Ooh. Hi, Owen.
Yeah, I wonder if he figured it out from the sound of my voice or the fact that I posted it to my Discord server, which I know he's a member of. What do you think gave it away?
Sinister Ministry says, hello. I had real life before now. Just things are not going good for our chat today, is there? We got Rob Chiosity, who's apparently dead. Sinister Minister, who just does not have a real life anymore. Chicken Lisa, who's a chicken. I imagine.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
And Tiny But Secret, who wish we'd go back to doing games. We're winning them over today.
Yeah. So, and hello over at Twitch if you happen to be over there.
Hello. There's nobody in there yet.
Okay. So that happened to me. And that wasn't fun. But I did, keep it good. I finished my workout like a champion.
Even though you just had like an alarming incident, you moved forward with it. You reconsolidated and made it part of your success narrative. That's what they say in the bodybuilding community, right?
Hell if I know.
Look, John, if you're a bodybuilder, you're part of the community. You need to know these things. We could do some bodybuilding.
I adhere to the Dr. Frankenstein
School of bodybuilding. The Stepford Wives approach.
Hello, Lou's Corner. Hello. Time Best Secret says, Time Best Secret, who's feeling kind of lonely? Oh.
We're all having a good day today. We've got a real good tone.
Wanna be all by myself.
We've got a real good tone going in the show today, isn't it? So for people who are wondering what's going on, I think we're still gelling with our new tone. We have things to work with here. We got to start getting it right.
Says, I know this game. At the bottom of the hill, roll, jump, and shoot. Yeah.
Pardon?
I don't know.
Just read it and hope it's funny.
Yeah. But how about you, man? How you been?
Oh, not too bad. I saw a movie.
Ooh.
I saw a couple of movies.
Motion picture?
I've seen a couple of movies actually this week. Some were good, some were bad, some were atrocious. If you are if you are bored and you are on Netflix and you decide that you will just watch a weird sci-fi movie that looks interesting called Supernova, don't do it.
That bad, huh?
It's so bad. It's so bad it almost reached so bad it's good. It had what's his name in Ultron, Spader.
Okay.
But in his like post Stargate what's it?
Boston Legal.
You're right, pre-Boston Legal phase, post Stargate, pre-Fat.
Oh, Jesus.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I think I actually remember this film now off the top of my head. I remember it being like advertised.
They pulled in a space artifact. So basically, everyone's on a spaceship traveling through space, and it's one of those movies where everyone in space in the future is also everyone's always basically fucking. That's all they talked about. Every character was like, who's having sex with who on the spaceship and stuff. And then they find this, they get this distress call, and they find this weird artifact, and this guy who made the distress call and seems to know some people on the crew. And then it's one of those stories, you know, like, this is a distinct type, whether it's set in space or not, but like, weird guy whispers in the ears of everybody one by one and convinces them to do terrible things and tears them all apart, and bad things happen. You know, like the devil plot, you know what I mean? The wolf in our midst type story. It's that kind of plot. And so they find this guy in a skateboard, he comes aboard, and he's basically evil right from the start, but he's got this weird artifact. And honestly, that could be like as far as I explained. Like, that's legitimately that seemed to be the only trace of plot.
He's a guy, he has a thing, dude's fucking evil. Boom.
Yeah, that was as close to a story as we got. Without a doubt. As close to a story. It was atrocious. But I also saw some interesting movies. I saw a very good horror movie called The Autopsy of Jane Doe. That was pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
Brian Cox was in it.
Brian Cox. Okay.
You like Brian Cox?
Yeah, I know Brian Cox.
You like Brian Cox?
Brian Cox is all right.
Yeah, he's pretty. I like him in certain things. Do you know he was the first actor to play Hannibal Lecter?
Yes, in Manhunter. Right?
Manhunter, the movie that was Red Dragon, but wasn't called Red Dragon because they thought people would think it was a martial arts movie, which I always think's pretty funny.
You know what? They're not wrong.
Yeah, but wouldn't that have made the actual Red Dragon movie better?
Yeah.
If every time Anthony Hopkins talked, his lips didn't match his audio, and he was like, "So, I ate his kidneys with some fava beans and a nice Chianti." Hwah!
Yeah, like as he's eating the food, every saw motion is whoosh, 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 whoosh.
So, Will Graham, we meet again. No, I like it.
I had an advantage. What was that? You're insane.
Right, the whole kit and caboodle. Yeah, but it was pretty good. That was a pretty good movie. These two coroners, father and son coroner team.
Wait, 1 second. Rob Cassie says, "I gotta go bye," and then he goes, "Bye, Biscuit and Owen." Am I just now Biscuit?
I think so. Do you know what I really find interesting is the amount of people who can't figure out the name of our show. So the channel is called Not Biscuits, but every episode of the show has been called Those Aren't Biscuits, and yet I've had people say, "Is it Biscuits tonight?" Which, fair enough, that could just be an abbreviation. Is it Not Biscuits? Right. Fair enough, that's the name of the channel. Mm-hmm. Is it Those Are Biscuits? No. You got no excuse for that one.
Yeah, explicitly, those aren't biscuits. Explicitly.
And the other one I like is it Are Those Biscuits tonight? Nah, no, we answered that. Don't we bring in biscuit ambiguity into this now?
Right? We're not asking any questions about biscuits. We're definitely stating the nature of something being a biscuit or not.
Specifically not.
Not, exactly.
So yeah, I
was gonna say that does sound like kind of a shitty like SNL skit show that would have been in like the 90s, you know, like there goes them biscuits.
I guess.
Yeah. Anyways,
we don't know
Jane Doe.
Nah, it was pretty good. It was a sort of a supernatural psychological horror movie about these two coroners working late, and they get brought in this mysterious body and told, we need a We need a cause of death tonight. And the body is basically imperfect condition, but as they get deeper, they find all these injuries that should be reflected on the surface but aren't, and try to solve the mystery. But weird supernatural goings on start to occur, and that wasn't too bad. But the two movies I'm most interested in talking about are, in part, I saw the movie Jigsaw, and it was bullshit.
Okay.
And I saw Deadpool 2, which I know you've seen, so it'll be interesting to discuss. But the only thing I have to say about Jigsaw is, if you've seen any of the other Saw movies, more specifically, if you've seen the first two...
Yes, those are actually the only two I have actually... No, I saw 3, I want to say.
So, I don't mind the Saw movies. I think the first one's actually pretty solid. I think the second one's okay, and then after that, diminishing returns. And they start to lean more into the same things. But the big premise in this movie is, the Saw killer died 10 years ago, right? But new victims start to turn up. And evidence that a game is playing with the Saw killer starts to become known. And the question of how, if the Saw killer's dead, could he still be killing people, and isn't it a copycat, is like the running theme of the film. All the while this game is going on. And I thought it was going to be... I kind of hope, because it was called like Jigsaw, and they were sort of phrasing it as like a semi-reboot, I thought they'd be doing something a bit different with it. No, it's a plot they've done before. The end resolution of the movie is, spoilers, people who will watch the film Jigsaw, is that the two sides of the story aren't happening at the same time, and that the game you're seeing is just set before the first Saw movie, and the cop investigations, they're just dealing with someone who's just dropping clues in the present day. And I was like, but that's the plot to Saw 2.
Right.
That's literally the whole twist. And as soon as I figured out that's what I was doing, the whole movie was ruined for me, because, I mean, it's a dumb movie anyway, but so much of that movie is, oh, how could this be happening? And I was like, it's not, I know, because you did this already.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's actually the real message, about the copycat. They're gonna copycat their own movie.
There was one trap I liked though, because it was so dumb. There was this guy in his game, and what he'd done is he'd sold someone a motorbike that he knew had dodgy brakes. And the funny thing was that when they cut back, when he's trying to figure out why he's in the game, and the Saw guy goes, You sold a man with a motorbike that you knew the brakes weren't good. And it cut back to the sale, and you saw him like, as he's selling the bike, just a shot underneath the bike, and it's literally like, pouring brake fluid, like, like a tap was running just from the bottom of the bike, just dispensing fluids. And I just thought, seriously, if he didn't check for the bike basically gushing bike blood, maybe he should have done a little due diligence. But then the trap he sets up is, it's like a giant cone-shaped blender. So it's like this giant cone container, and then inside there's like a big spiral blade getting thinner from the point right at the bottom, and then getting wider and wider and wider, like around a big cartoon drill, if you know what I mean, but on the inside.
Sure.
Which is spinning, controlled by the bike he sold, like the wheels attached to the bottom. And then he says, "But I assure you, the brakes for this do work." And right at the bottom of this blade, of this this spiral blade as it kicks in, are the brakes from a motorbike. And he's gets reach his hand down and squeeze them. It was so dumb. And it was one of those things where when you looked at it, you were like, but there isn't really room for him to get his hand in there. They really strayed in this movie from the whole, like, anyone has the potential to save themselves. Because one of the other killings is someone who, she was a mugger who mugged someone, and the person she mugged had, like, life-saving medication in their handbag, so they died. So, he says, there are 3 syringes. One of them two contain deadly poison. One contains, I think it's like the antidote or something to a poison you've already been given. If you inject yourself, if you have the nerve to pick one and inject yourself, you'll be saved. And she has the nerve to pick one, but she gets the wrong one. And I was like, but that was like a 1 in 3 chance.
Yeah, that's not really in spirit.
Right.
I remember the one that really got me was, and because you know the whole Saw timeline thing gets all weird.
Sure.
You know they kind of do like the weird, like Fast and the Furious timeline bullshit, where like technically the 3rd movie is like the last movie, but then all the other ones happen in between because a certain character appears.
Right, I mean, fundamentally, the mistake they made is they killed off the killer and then got 3 more movies.
Right.
So they had to fit them in. Like, there's one where you go all the way through the movie, and then it turns out right at the end that it's taking place exactly parallel to the movie before.
Right.
You seen that one? When you get to the ending of that movie, it intersects with the ending from the movie before.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like 4 and 3.
Yeah. Is it 4 and 3? I don't remember.
I mean, to be fair, we're putting too much in detail into what is fundamentally a quite shit film series.
Yeah. So I remember the one trap that made me go, what? And it was the one where I think it was a married couple, and they're like pressed together, and they're actually pinned together with steel rebarb that has been shoved through both their bodies.
As you do.
and it's ridiculous because like the whole purpose of the thing is like, okay, well, you really want to hurt each other because if you pull the rebarb here, you'll live, but they will bleed out and die, right? But the thing is like, great, they still have fucking rebar through their body, and now they have to try to make it out and live. Like,
and this is
like the whole purpose of these traps where they have to hurt themselves in order to survive, right? They have to endure pain.
Prove they had the will to survive.
Right. And the problem is, if I have a bunch of rebarb through my body already, I'm already in a lot of fucking pain. Like, and that alone is like should be like the solution to some of these puzzles. Like, hey, do this and you'll get a rebarb thing through your fucking chest.
Was it the first Saw movie where the guy had to like crawl through glass and find like a match or like with light running out? Or was that 7? Because Saw was very inspired by 7, I think. But there's one where there was one where a guy had to crawl across glass barefoot. The problem with those movies is like the more the traps get stupid, like he starts to put people in the traps for stupider and stupider reasons, like for smaller and smaller crimes. The traps get harder and harder and harder to actually. They feel a lot less like fair tests of one's will, as something like 9 people out of 10 would just fail anyway.
Right.
And the weird thing is, the more the movies go, the more they actually seem to really, really, really admire the Jigsaw Killer, the people making him. Like in this one, it legitimately ends, like, spoilers again for the movie Jigsaw. It turns out there is another protege of the Jigsaw Killer, because that's how they've done it. There've been 3 so far.
Yeah.
And at the end, when they're talking about how important it is to make the tests fair, the Jigsaw Killer, like the original, I forget his name, like John, like Corbin, John someone? No, that's Metallo. Something like that. He literally like looks at the other guy in the camera and goes, "It'll be just because we'll speak for the dead." No! He's a crazy murderer. Stop trying to pretend he's the good guy.
Right. I remember the bit that really kind of got me, and it was like Jigsaw 3D.
Yeah. Still with us, John? I'm going to catch up with the chat till John gets back. Hello to Blage, who says cookies. It looks like Owen and John ran out of code games. No, it's not so much that. We moved back to the way we used to do it when we had a podcast. We're still doing it live, but we decided to move back to the old way of doing it because the problem with the games is we kind of lost the original show in the process. So we wanted to kind of go back to the way the show used to be, but keep it
We
live.
gotta go back, Marty.
Yeah. Nah. Where we're going, we don't need games. Hello to Gamer Lad. How you doing? Welcome back, John.
So, yeah, I'm back. So it was Saw 3T, where at the very end, the big reveal, right, is that the victim, or not, the one who survived from the very first Saw movie, actually then joins up.
Yes.
With the drunks, and they do this thing where apparently one of the proteges or something like kind of went rogue.
Yeah, the woman. All the cops.
Yeah, one of the two, right? So it ends with I think it was the cop being chained up in the basement, and he's like, oh, you know, now you have to saw if you're laid to get out. But then the dude just takes a saw and throws it out of the fucking room.
Right.
But the worst part is that it's supposed to be 3D, right? So he throws it like at the camera, and it's this really ridiculous CG saw just like like moving slowly towards the screen.
Well, there's that guy. The funny thing about that one is that revelation, because it's Cary Elwes' character. Cary Elwes? Cary Elwes is what I want to call him. Yeah. Scary Elvis.
Scary Elvis.
There's this really interesting thing that that twist was apparently predicted by someone. Have you ever seen this? There was a YouTube theory guy who predicted like the whole thing, the whole way that Saw 3D pans out and all the big intricate lore and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I see it, part of me just goes, but as these movies are so clearly made up as they go along and they didn't really seem to have any complicated lore until then, what's the chances that someone just watched that video and went, well, this is better than what we were writing?
Like they were like writing it, then they kind of watch it in the background, like, give me 1 second. Hey, Carrie? Busy? I know you're not.
We know he's not. That Robin Hood Prince of Thieves 2 not coming around, is it? Not Prince of Thieves, Men in Tights 2.
Men in Tights 2.
No rule with
I
it.
would love a Robin Hood Men in Tights 2.
With all the same cast.
Oh yeah, just bring them all back. Well,
and
you couldn't.
Some
are past.
Don't like update the tone in any way. Make it just like a pure 90s Mel Brooks movie.
No, you know what you do? You it's the same tone, the same sort of jokes, right? But you have Guy Ritchie film it, so it looks like his shitty Robin Hood movie he made.
Hello in the Twitch chat, by the way, to Super Macho Jedi Knight. How you doing? Oh, I'd love that. My favorite bit about the whole of Robin Hood Men in Tights, I don't know why, because it's so dumb, but it's when they land, Robin just goes, home, England, and he starts kissing the sand, and then he just goes, and when they have the famous fight over the bridge. And he's going, guys,
whole fucking movie.
This ain't exactly the. I'm on the left side. I'm on the right side.
I'm on the East Bank. I'm on the West Bank. It's not that big a deal.
And the best bit of that whole fight is when they get the sticks down to just little, and they're just flicking them into the fingers.
Yeah.
That movie,
which, have you ever been
fucking
on
hurts.
Your knuckles before?
Fucking hurts. Yeah, they should do that.
That's gonna hurt.
I mean, it's mostly a terrible movie, but there are those really great moments that where you, like, it's such a bad film. If they made it today, I'd think it was atrocious. But so many of those jokes that just stand out in my mind, like the witch, latrine. That's an interesting name. Yeah, family changed it. Used to be shithouse. It's a good change. It's a good change.
my favorite is I lost. I'm not supposed to lose. And everyone pulls out their scripts. I get another shot.
He gets another shot. He gets another shot. I also love it when Dom DeLuise is introducing his like silent henchman. Yeah, one time he come up to a guy and he stick his tongue out and go. So he cut out his tongue. It's a terrible movie. The one joke that does really make me laugh though, that I think is a legitimate really good joke, is all the way at the beginning when you see those burning arrows being fired to do the credits. And then someone just goes, "Call the fire brigade! The village is burning down! Every time they make a Robin Hood movie, they burn our village to the ground!" It's so good.
I like it when they meet the Moyle. It's like, it's the latest fashion. Women love it. I'll get two!
Call a locksmith!
Yeah. Call the locksmith! Call the locksmith! Call the locksmith!
From now on, all the privies in England shall be known as the Johns!
No!
I also like, excuse me, sir, wasn't your mole on the other side? I have a mole. Sorry, this is a new show. This is just quoting from Men in Tights. Weekly show every Monday night. Your favorite Men in Tights quotes.
So, should we move on?
Yes, I saw Deadpool 2, which I'm sure you're itching to talk to me about and hear my thoughts.
Nah.
Alright, fair enough. Let's move on. I didn't like it.
No?
No, I didn't. Sorry. I'm not even doing the whole pretend not to like it thing. I think it started off pretty well. Actually.
Mm-hmm.
You see Deadpool, he's finishing up his crime spree of vigilantism.
Yeah.
And then he goes home to see his love interest from the first movie, and she's still around. And they have kind of a sweet, tender, likable moment, and then she gets killed.
Mm-hmm.
And you get probably the funniest sequence in the movie with that title sequence, which I think is hilarious.
Oh.
The whole Bond-style title sequence where the credits are all like, wait, did that just happen? You killed off my favorite character. Good luck getting Reynolds back, all that.
Oh, know what the funny thing is that damn song they used during it?
Right.
That Celine Dion song that they wrote that song specifically for Deadpool 2, but purposely made it sound like it was a real song.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, hello.
I think that's hilarious.
Hello in the Twitch chat to Super Macho Jedi Knight. I am seeing. Hello, I'm checking the Twitch chat. Yes. How you doing? Welcome, man. It worked in Blazing Saddles. Yes. That is one of the highlights of that movie. Yeah, I feel like, so there are some things I like about the movie. I actually think Cable is very good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think putting Cable in and then having Deadpool joke that all his like Liefeld pouches are fanny packs is a great joke that almost paid for the movie for me. Do you know what I mean? Like almost got it through the door. But for me, I think it has all the same problems as Deadpool 1, which is that it's a stupid movie, and I'd rather see a not stupid movie with a stupid character in. And I just didn't feel that way about Deadpool 2. I didn't care for it. I didn't think Colossus was as enjoyable, particularly I did like that scene when he's like, "Oh, the first movie made so much money, we couldn't afford to get like one of the real X-Men in," and you get like one shot where they're all in the.
They just close the door.
Legitimately funny, but I still think the problem with this franchise, shall we say, is that I don't want to watch that kind of. I don't watch that kind of comedy movie. I like superhero movies, and I'd rather have. The thing is, I think Ryan Reynolds is fine. I think Deadpool in these movies is perfect. I think it's the movies around Deadpool that don't work for me at all.
See, and that's what really surprises me to hear you say that, because I thought Deadpool 2 was legitimately the movie that you said you wanted Deadpool 1 to be.
No.
Because, like, if you look at Deadpool 2, it's actually a very straightforward comic book movie. And
I don't think it is.
see, I do. I think all the characters except for Deadpool are played very straight. There's a few jokes here and there.
The comedy Indian who wants to be a hitman is played straight.
Okay, one example.
The Emoji Movie guy is played straight.
The who?
Oh, Deadpool's friend from the bar. The guy who keeps calling him an avocado. I hated him in the first movie, and I hate him in this one.
Well, no, I think he actually is played straight.
Okay, no, I don't think he is. Okay, if this wasn't the Deadpool movie, right, would Colossus have beaten Juggernaut by sticking an electrical cable up his bottom?
Wasn't that like kind of in part due to Deadpool? Like, didn't like Deadpool like tell him to do that?
No, I don't think so.
No, but I really think that it's very straightforward. Like,
I think it's straightforward. I don't think it's played straight. It's a comedy movie. Both these, and it should be a comedy movie, but I think they would work better if Deadpool was. I'm not talking about. So it's common for superhero movies to have a little humor in these days. In fact, a fair amount of humor, right? That's pretty common in Marvel movies, stuff like that. But there's a sort of underlying reality, right? And an underlying thing where you don't go too far into the humor and too far into playing everything for laughs, because fundamentally you need to maintain that balance of adventure movie with colorful, slightly unrealistic characters, but we're still grounded in a certain amount of reality, right? I would say that's the tone of Marvel movies for me, broadly. And that's okay. And I don't mind if there's a film that deviates from that. But with Deadpool, you have a character whose sole purpose is to break down and deviate from that reality and almost break the fourth wall and completely break down any sense of reality, right? That's the Deadpool character. Why do all the other characters talk like him then? Why do all the other characters break down that reality too? Except for certain characters like Colossus, who don't do that, but go so far the other way that they're played comedically straight. Do you know what I mean?
I guess.
I don't.
I will say. I like the first one better than 2, for sure.
I like the first one better than 2 as well. The first one's closer to what I liked, what I wanted.
You know, actually, my favorite sequence in that movie is though.
Oh yeah.
Is the 15 minutes that they took to introduce and then systematically destroy X-Force.
Sure, but don't you think that's a good example of what I'm talking about as well? That's what you get in a comedy movie. Which is okay if it's a comedy movie, and that's fine, but that's not the movie I want to see.
Well, that's fair. Yeah.
And there are things I like. There are jokes I like. Rob Delaney's character, the sheer existence of that character and how it's played is really funny. But for me, it's too much. Like, I don't like Emoji Movie guy in anything.
Right.
I don't like that character. I don't like that he's there to do this kind of improv riff comedy. To me, it's the Deadpool movies have so much of what everybody hated about that Ghostbusters movie, which was fine because that's a comedy movie all the way through. They don't feel like superhero movies to me. They feel like superhero movies for people who are in college and think superhero movies are for nerds. And don't make me watch superhero. Yeah, Deadpool, he said the bad words, and that seems to be the only level the film operates on for me. There are bits I like about it that I think work. I actually think the ending's great. Because you've got Deadpool being silly, even though it has the stupid Juggernaut sequence, right? Which is... The thing about the Juggernaut sequence, Juggernaut being defeated by having someone stick an electrical cable in his anus is perfect.
Wouldn't that defeat you?
Sure. And it's perfect. It's perfect for a Deadpool movie. If Deadpool's the one that does it. It doesn't work for me at all if someone else does it, and then it's supposed to be in some... That, to me, that's a movie where every character's Deadpool, to me. And I don't get why they've chosen that approach. But I do, because it works as a stupid comedy movie, and I don't want to watch a stupid comedy movie, I want to watch a superhero movie. even if the lead is a stupid comedy character.
I guess so. Like, I don't like the Deadpool comics, so that's
No,
my
me
thing.
neither.
I don't like the because what they generally do in the Deadpool comics is they'll have everyone else being typical comic book superhero guy, right? You know, they team them up with even humorous characters like Spider-Man, right? But as compared to Deadpool, he's a straight character, like a pretty not serious, but he's played straight. And what you generally get is a lot of writers use Deadpool to express their disdain for these other characters, right? And I don't really care for that.
No.
So much of Deadpool's existence in the comics seems to be to express or to almost insult these other characters, right?
Right. And I wouldn't like the movie, but don't you think that's what the movies do with Colossus?
No, I don't.
I'm not even talking about what Deadpool does, because Deadpool seems to like Colossus. I'm talking about how the movie treats Colossus. Not that I have like a massive dog in the fight of how Colossus is presented. He's a really not interesting character, but
I think the idea, like, to me, what doesn't bother me so much is I don't feel like it's so much insulting to like those characters as much as I think I feel like it definitely more falls in the line of like satire. Like, it's pointing out some silliness that exists in that character.
Sure.
Right.
Which I think worked in the first movie. But
sure.
In this movie,
well, it's like why I like what they did with the X-Force thing, right? Because when you look back at the original X-Force, right, and those characters that came up in that mid 90s or early to mid 90s, you know, Liefeld era, they were so stupidly self-serious, right? They're just badass mofos, you know. We got guns, we got knives.
Oh, we lost John again. Okay. Well, while we lost John,
I'm here.
Hey, John's here.
No, and so when they take X-Force, okay, guys, here's a big spoiler, for Deadpool 2. What they do with it though, and they do introduce these characters like that, like these are like grim, like attitude-filled characters, you know, where it's like, oh, I spit acid, or I vomit acid, and I'm Shatterstar. I'm basically better than you in everything. And they do this, and then when they actually get to the point where they're supposed to actually be badasses, they're all killed in the stupidest ways possible.
Sure.
And to me, I view that as satire, right? It's not, they never go out of their way to go like, hey, look at this character, stupid, right?
Sure.
And which is what they generally do in the comics. And that's what I don't like.
Okay. I can see that.
And I just feel like and to me, I think the idea of having these other characters be kind of silly and matching Deadpool's tone is for the sake of it being a movie, right? Because a comic, you know, I'm not trying to, you know, teach you something, you know, that you don't know, but comic reading and watching a movie are two different experiences. You can get away with having a Deadpool being so radically different than everyone else in the comic book because you are essentially the active participant in taking in that media, whereas a movie, you're watching a movie is more of a passive thing, and you're more
no, you lost me. No, I don't agree. To me, that's dumbing down the concept. For me, what I see in those movies is someone found a way to take a popular thing at the moment, which is movies, and not superhero movies, and not just superhero movies, but specifically Marvel movies. Like, Fox must be very thrilled that they happen to license a lot of Marvel properties. Do you know what I mean? Because it's Marvel is doing really great right now, and they found a way to take a Marvel movie that would be a good vehicle to make a comedy for the crowd that watches movies like The Hangover. So that's what they made. And I think that's okay. I don't have a problem with that. But that movie will never be for me.
Okay.
And that's the issue I have. They don't make, I don't feel like with Deadpool, they make a movie where the starting point is, let's make a superhero movie and this is our character and we'll make a movie that fits him. I think they go from the starting point of, let's make a dumb comedy movie and Deadpool works for that, so let's do it. And they make that movie. They make a Marvel Hangover type movie, and it just has no appeal to me.
I don't get that from that at all. Like I can see where you would think that's how the process went, but I don't really get that from it. I think I definitely get the feeling from these movies that it wasn't necessarily like we're gonna make a dumb gross out comedy. Is that we have a dumb gross out character, like let's make a thematically consistent film around him being stupid.
Sure, but that, even if you don't like the Deadpool comics, and I'm not a huge fan of the Deadpool comics, that isn't Deadpool comics. I don't think.
No, but I personally like I said, I didn't care for Deadpool 2 as much as Deadpool 1.
Sure. Neither did I, but I think the flaws in those two movies are exactly the same for me. Deadpool 2 is exactly what I would have expected a sequel to Deadpool 1 to be like. The bad and the good.
Really?
Yeah,
God,
absolutely.
I didn't get that at all. Like,
I thought they were I thought they were pretty much the same movie, really.
No, oh, wow, really? Like, I didn't see that at all. I thought they were radically different. Sure, the tone of the humor and the Deadpool character himself I thought was consistent, but the actual like plot and the supporting cast around it, I thought that was so radically different.
Well, I mean, no, well, okay. Yes, the plot is different. But the plot is very different to Superman 1 and Superman 2, right? And yet they're fundamentally incredibly similar movies, right?
Yeah, but I don't see that with.
But no, I'm just saying, you see what I mean, right?
Mm-hmm.
The plot can be different. Sure. There's a very different cast of characters in Superman 2. There's a very different plot, but they still feel the same. Even though one was directed by a different guy, they're still very consistent, very similar movies. Superman 2 is absolutely like a sequel in keeping with Superman 1, right? Even though we get some of the comedy added from, was it Richard Lester directed that movie?
I thought Donner did both. What?
No, Donner did 1 and he started doing 2, but then he got fired for going over budget on 2. That's why we got that Donner cut later on, remember?
Oh, yeah.
Which uses the same ending as Superman 1, the Donner cut. The same, like, fly around the world backwards ending. That's how I felt about Deadpool 2. It was exactly the sort of movie I would imagine people who liked Deadpool 1 would like, for exactly the same reasons, and exactly the kind of movie I didn't like for exactly the same reasons.
And that's so weird to me, because when I watched it, the whole time I'm watching this, all I can think of is, this isn't like Deadpool 1. I bet you Owen likes this better.
I liked it less.
Oh, it's so weird. You contrarian bastard. I know you're doing that. Like...
No, I watched it. So there are some things how about I will talk. Well, let me catch up with the chat, and I'll talk about all the things I liked about it. Okay.
Okay.
So let's catch up with the chat. First, let me do the Twitch chat. Super Macho Jedi Knight says, that is so true. I don't like it either, but I don't know exactly what he was referring to. Abbott and Costello says, Abbott and Costello, man, comedically straight. Yes, they totally do that to Colossus. That's the point. I love that. Shatterstar was like the worst character of the 90s. And then sure, there was a place for that, and I totally see that. I'm trying to keep up with the chat. Super Macho says, then keep up! I will. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but yes, I think he agrees a bit with both of us, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
And then over in the YouTube chat, we need a better chat. Let's see. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Lash says John's internet is like he lives in the middle of nowhere in the second world country. He does.
Yeah. Wisconsin.
Hold on here. Lash says, has anyone noticed they're not reading the chat so we could say almost anything? No, I'm getting it. Kaylee says, I'm not testing Owen, I know what he'll do. That makes you sound sinister. Flash says, Owen is friendly, but he has a limit. Tiny Red Secret says, uh-oh, catching up with the chat. Run, Lillian!
Guys, we're actually usually pretty good about keeping up with the chat. When the reason we don't sometimes is when we get into conversations like this,
which we haven't had chance to do as much since we switched format. This feels like the old show again. This is what we were trying to get back to. So here's what I like about Deadpool 2. I think the ending's great. Like I think the Cable plot and the stuff with the kid is great. Like I didn't love that kid specifically, although I did think legitimately I thought him repeatedly trying to go up to the biggest guy in prison and and shank him was
I thought that was funny as hell.
Quite funny. I like that plot. I think that plot with Cable comes from the future. There's this kid. I think that plot is really good. I think it's much better than the plot from Deadpool 1, which is basically girl kidnapped, find. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So I like that plot. I think it's really good. I think the ending is excellent. And the way it takes this character who's been so dumb all the way through and actually does find some real sentimental heart that you believe in him, which they did with Deadpool 1 as well, but because it was like, oh, the girlfriend kidnapped, it was a bit too neat. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I actually think that ending is great, and Cable going back in time and that whole sequence, and even like very in keeping with the character, the death scene that goes on way too long.
Then, oh god, that death scene is stolen right from an episode of the Mask cartoon.
the Mask cartoon or Mask.
Mask.
Mask. Chopper's gonna something about a mission. So I like that. I actually legitimately like that. I just would have liked to have seen. That's why I think it would have been better if the whole movie was played a little bit straighter and we could have given that plot more time, to be honest, because I liked it and I'd have liked to have seen more of it taken seriously, even if Deadpool himself was not taking it seriously. I liked Domino, who again, character I would have loved to have seen given more time in a better movie, but done really well in here, you know? The argument about whether being lucky is a superpower, and then when he's like, I don't know, it doesn't sound very cinematic, and all this amazing shit's just just going off without a hitch, I thought was great. And a really good like visual representation of what her powers are, you know?
Yeah.
Because it is tricky to communicate a character like Domino. You know,
and I remember when they announced Domino, I'm like, how are they going to do that?
Right,
and they do it really well.
They do it real. I think she's excellent. And I think, the Yukio character.
Oh yeah, hi Wade, hi Yukio.
Yeah,
they never explain her.
Yeah,
I love that.
She's just what's her name's girlfriend, and and she thinks Wade's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. There's some nice gags in there. That running gag with that is funny. The kid is funny. And at times sad, and then that plot is funny. But too often for me, it feels like I'm trapped in the Hangover, and I just want to go back to the superhero movie. For me, watching Deadpool 2, and that's how Deadpool 1 felt. But yeah, no, I thought there was actually the core of a really good plot there. Like, here's the thing: everybody knows that characters like Cable were dumb. right? Like they were dumb.
Yeah.
They were bad. Like Cable was Rob Liefeld, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, he
Also was Deadpool.
He was designed by Rob Liefeld. I don't mean he was Rob Liefeld. I know Rob
Liefeld saw himself
with really badly drawn feet. He gets out of bed in the morning. He's like, "What are these?"
The last time he goes to a podiatrist, and the podiatrist is like, I can't do anything with this.
there's nothing I can do, Mr. Liefeld.
Here's some stockings. Just
Super Macho Jedi Knight says, I had totally forgotten Domino's powers because I hadn't read a Domino story since '98.
Yeah. Actually, there is a Domino series going on right now, written by Gail Simone. So.
Yeah. Who gets a little shout out in this movie. I thought it was nice. Because Gail Simone's like one of the most respected Deadpool writers as well, right? Oh, we lost John again. So,
so did you hear about Gail Simone?
What about her?
Oh, I was gonna say that there's actually a Domino series right now. Okay.
And then I said,
Gail Simone.
I said she's also a very well respected writer of Deadpool, and and got a little call out in this movie, which was nice.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think exactly the same as Deadpool 1, basically. There are lots of things I like about this movie. There isn't anything that is as overtly as annoying. It's like, okay, here's a really good example of how I feel about the Deadpool movies with a scene from Deadpool 1. And it's the movie where they're just riffing for ages about how ugly his face is. You know what I mean? And they're going back and forth with the insults and stuff. And do you not remember that scene? Where he's like, oh, you just look like a scrotum. And, you know, do you remember that?
Yeah.
With Emoji Movie Guy? And it was when I was watching that scene, I was like, this is the kind of stuff Deadpool would say. And other people wouldn't unless they were in a comedy movie. I am in a comedy movie. And this movie feels the same. It was the comedy Indian, you know?
Right.
And which, aside from anything, we're having a conversation these days about how comedic Indian stereotypes with silly voices don't really have a place in the world anymore. That's dumb as it is. But
yeah.
But, you know...
But they didn't really play him as being so much of a stereotype, though, did they?
I mean, he drives a cab.
Okay, sure.
And he has a silly accent. But, you know, yes, not the worst I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
But we were having that scene, and he's driving around, and he's talking about how he wants to be a hitman. And he's in his silly Indian voice. And I watched, and this is like the second scene in the movie, maybe after the montage, right. And I'm like, okay, no, we're back in comedy movie land, dumb frat boy comedy movie land. Buckle in.
Okay, let's check out the chat here real quick.
Super Macho Jedi Knight says yes, but I'm leaning to John because I said I think he was with both of us.
Let's see here. Kaylee asks at one point, Owen, do you like Johnny Bravo?
I like early Johnny Bravo. I think like season 1, season 2, Johnny Bravo is actually a really, really, really good takedown of macho dude bro types. Mm-hmm. And then around about season 3, someone actually started at Cartoon Network went, maybe we should watch these original cartoons we've commissioned, and they really took the teeth out of that show. But I really liked the first 2 seasons of Johnny Bravo. It's really good. The best Johnny Bravo episode, the best Johnny Bravo issue the whole time, is the one where they're in a supermarket and he buys the fitness mag, and a little girl says, "Ew, he's looking at a magazine of naked men!" And he has to he has to get home the whole time, like hiding his fitness mag. It's really funny. No, there's a fitness mag for big buff guys who look cool like me.
Blas says, anyone wants to open a cold one with me? I'm pretty sure you can handle that yourself, man.
Oh, this is nice. Og says, just dropping by for a minute. Owen is grousing about Deadpool 2 again, eh? I have to run to the store anyway. I may have mentioned my feelings about this on the Minecraft stream already.
Let's see here. Org says, I think I think you need to have a sponsor selling cookies with that animation. And Tiny Best Secret says Oreos. I like Oreos. I mean, they're a shitty cookie, but it's enjoyable.
Super Macho Jedi Knight says, I remember that episode. It's the best one of Johnny Bravo.
With a werewolf?
What? Well, you cut out for a minute there, John. So all that happened is you went, with a werewolf? And I was like, all right. Talk about werewolves now. How do we go into werewolves? We lost him again. Perfect.
Okay, I'm going to just restart Discord altogether.
I was really hoping that the beginning of that sentence was actually what got cut off was, okay, there's something knocking on my door, and I think it might be Frankenstein with a werewolf. And then what got cut off next was just, they're eating my face!
Send help!
Yeah.
What?
Thank God I'm on Discord for this.
Alright, I will be right back, guys.
Alright, go for it. Kaylee says, I didn't actually realize how many sexual references were in Johnny Bravo. It was a surprisingly adult show. Super Macho Jedi Knight says, those aren't werewolves. Blanche says, now he's gone. Yeah, so Johnny Bravo, for people who don't know, there was a time period when there were like two major kids networks, right? Well, there were three, because there was Fox Kids as well, but that one sucked, so we don't talk about that. But there was Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, and in the 90s, they went through this period of basically creating a whole, like, raft of original cartoons. And the one that really shot Nickelodeon up to the rafters was Ren and Stimpy, and that kicked off a whole era of, like, original cartoons for all ages, partly adults. And Johnny Bravo was one of the Cartoon Network equivalents, along with so Nickelodeon had their Nickelodeon original tunes. Welcome back, John, by the way. What were the original cartoons, as the Cartoon Network used to call them? There was Johnny Bravo.
It was Johnny Bravo, it was
Dexter's Lab,
and Cow and Chicken.
Cow and Chicken. Wasn't there another one? Powerpuff Girls came later, didn't it?
I Am Weasel?
I Am Weasel. You don't need pants for the victory dance. My favorite I Am Weasel.
No, because I Am Weasel was a spin-off of Cow and Chicken. Johnny Bravo.
No, it was Cow and Chicken. It used to run in the same segment. Yeah. An IR baboon. Have you seen that one where the baboon falls in love with a thistle? It's really funny.
No, God, I don't remember so much of those. Like I liked Johnny Bravo and I liked Dexter's Lab, but the rest of the cartoon lineup can go right to hell. God, like, I never watched them.
Ed, and Eddie. That one was horrific.
That was not like a cartoon though, was it? That kind of was like always its own self-standing thing.
I feel like that was a cartoon.
Hmm.
Do you remember the one that was like, I forget what it was called, but it was like Three Friends and Bob? What was the kid's name? Do you remember? It was like a really it was a call to bullying. Do you remember?
I don't. Oh God, I don't remember that at all.
It was called Three Friends and So and So, and it was just about these 4 kids who hang out, and they hated the other kid. Three Friends and Jerry. Yeah. Three Friends and Jerry is a Swedish animated television series. Oh, the Swedes! A Swedish-German...
It's always the Swedes.
Oh god, no, we have to take some responsibility. A Swedish-German United Kingdom co-production. The series was created by Magnus Carlsen and produced by Fontana Pictures. Jerry is the new kid in town who does not fit in with any of his schoolmates. The series shows his best attempts to be liked by the 3 friends who do not want him to be part of their group, but they still let him hang out with them as long as he helps them with their problems. They also fall for a group of the girls in town who refuse to date them and refer to them as punks. Apart from school, the group is content with parents, bullies, and their own conflicts. I only remember one episode about that.
This sounds oddly autobiographical.
Right. I only remember one episode from Three Friends and Jerry, and it's one where Jerry gets a bike where you pedal backwards to brake, and then he borrows someone else's bike and completely trashes it because it doesn't brake like that. And then that was the plot of an episode.
Yeah, there's no way that didn't actually happen to someone who wrote that show.
Yeah. Blash says, but did Cartoon Network actually make their cartoons, or did they outsource them? No, they actually made them. The execs, they were like, we're going to make our own cartoons. They went down to the cellar and got some paper, some pens. 6 weeks later, they came out with Billy Stickman. And Billy Stickman and the Travels Through Time. It's time for one of my patented Simpsons jokes, I think. That amazing episode where Homer's voicing a cartoon character, and as he starts recording, he says, "Is this one going out live?" And the other voice actor says, "No, Homer, very few cartoons go out live. It's a terrible strain on the animator's wrist." Always makes me laugh. Tiny Best Secret says, Pinky and the Brain leads to Animaniacs.
Other way around, actually.
Yes. Cow and Chicken was amazing. Courage the Cowardly Dog. That was later on, but it was a good show.
Courage the Cowardly Dog was my jam. I liked Courage.
The one where the eggplants take over.
The one that got me, because there's actually some legitimately like freaky episodes of Courage the Cowardly Dog.
The one that always gets referenced is the one with the insane barber.
Yes. Oh, good God, that's terrifying.
Naughty.
Hello,
everybody. Listen to me pouring orange juice.
There's another one. I don't remember the plot so much, but I remember the image was terrifying. So it was something to do with like the moon being pissed off.
Oh God. Yeah, I remember that one. You with me, John?
Hey, I'm still here.
To you too.
So it was something like, I think the moon was pissed off, so they had this image of a face that they overexposed, so it looked like milk white.
Yeah.
And then darkened the eyes. And then filmed it in real life with this really shitty, like, grainy camera. And spliced it into the cartoon.
So, in this country, Courage the Cowardly Dog used to air at like 11 at night. And
really?
it was the most unsettling thing to watch, because it was in the late block of animation, which I used to stay up to watch because it had Batman Beyond, or Batman of the Future, as it was known in Britain.
That's a terrible name.
Courage the Cowardly Dog, and Grim Adventures of Bill and Mandy, but when it was still called Grim and Evil. And I tell you, I will go to the ends of the earth, by the way. I will die on this hill that of Grim and Evil, the Evil Konkani segment was better than Billy and Mandy. I'm saying it now. That should not have been the one that did not get its own show. Come on, it was the brain of an evil genius attached to a bear with his stomach. Do you remember that show?
Yeah.
It was so good. It was so good, Evil Konkani. But it was this weird block of late night shows. We also got that, what was that spin-off from Batman Beyond about the robot? The Theta Project?
The Zeta Project.
Right. That was a good show.
Or Project Zeta.
Whatever it was called.
Yeah. Okay. So we can go on forever talking about these cartoons.
Good.
But
so Batman Beyond, what I liked about it was it was the first show to kind of move on from the Batman the Animated Series and suggest they were going for like a shared universe thing. But they actually got like Kevin Conroy back to be old Bruce, you know? It was terrific.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what was the best thing they ever showed in that late night block, and I'll forever be grateful to them?
What's that?
They showed the sequel to 2001: A Space Odyssey, which is a better movie than 2001: A Space Odyssey. And I wish more people had seen it. Yeah. It's so good. How'd you feel about 2010? Schneider's in that, isn't he?
I like 2010: Space Odyssey.
Yeah. What's his name? Roy Schneider or Rob Schneider? Not Rob Schneider.
It's definitely not Rob Schneider.
2010.
All these planets are yours to use in peace and unity, except for the third moon of Saturn. Attempt no landing there. You can do it!
Except for if you plan to vaccinate your children on them. Rob Schneider, because he's anti-vaccination.
Right.
But yeah, Roy Schneider. Is it Schneider or Scheider?
It's Schneider.
Schneider man.
Schneider man does whatever a Schneider can.
Star in Spielberg films he can, because he is Schneider man.
Eats a hot dog with only mustard. Look out!
Yeah,
Here comes a Snyder man.
He got bitten by a radioactive schneid. He's a good actor.
Yeah, he is.
I like that he was contractually obliged to be in Jaws 2. But he obviously really didn't want to be in it. So when you watch it, he's just like, oh, fuck it.
He was in was it 2000 or no, not 2000. Yeah, he was in 2010, but
yeah, we were just talking about that. Funny that.
Yeah, no, I was he was in Space Odyssey. Wasn't he?
What, the first one?
Oh no, that's god.
Sequest DSV. He was in Sequest DSV.
Yeah.
Which, like, what I like is that a guy who once thought himself too good to be in Jaws 2
is now working with a talking dolphin who repeatedly upstaged him.
Yeah. People forget the talking dolphin.
How could you forget the talking dolphin? It's a talking fucking dolphin.
That dolphin went on to be quite the star in Hollywood.
Yeah, he was amazing in that can of tuna I ate last week.
Well, you know, a little known fact about the dolphin. He used to be the nerdy kid from the Wonder Years.
You know, he's saying beautiful people. He was a talking dolphin.
That was a reference, by the way, to the fact that Marilyn Manson was the nerdy kid from the Wonder Years. For people who haven't heard that rumor, he wasn't, by the way.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they figured that out, Owen. That Marilyn Manson is not a talking dolphin.
No, what I mean is Marilyn Manson also was not the kid from the Wonder Years.
Yeah, jury's still out.
No, it isn't. Shut up. But what you need to know is that the dolphin did actually have a rib removed so it could perform sexual acts on itself. And at the end it was like, I don't know why I'm a dolphin. I can reach there anyway. Like,
I can make this motion pretty easily, action.
Tiny bit secrets. Sorry, Kaylee says, "Hey Owen and John, what's the worst thing you said on Those Aren't Biscuits?" I don't know, but I can tell you something I said just before it, and it was, "Hey John, do you want to do a podcast?"
No, I think it was during one of the drunk podcasts. I'd have to listen to it again, but I went on a pretty long rant about work that actually referenced some real people in my life. I felt kind of bad about that.
Everyone immediately runs off and finds the episode. We did get really, really drunk and start saying "I love you" once. Do you remember that?
What's that?
We did actually get so drunk we hit the "I love you" phase once. Do you remember that? Like, I've never had like the cliche "so drunk you say I love you to your friends" bit in real life, but I achieved it that year. That year I actually projectile vomited all night because I drank so much. I was so sick.
I remember that episode ending with me insisting that we have to remember to stop the recording. Like, I kept on going, we have to stop the recording. We gotta remember to stop the recording. And then I passed out with a live mic.
Yeah. A lot of dead air, because then you used to send the audio to me for editing. I think you had actually cut off your long sleepiness, though, right?
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Super Macho Knight says the Rev does that all the time. Yeah. Okay, this is gonna take a little explaining. For those who don't know, Super Macho Jedi Knight in the chat right now had his own podcast for a while. That was really fun. It was called The Mean Geek, and his co-host was called The Rev.
And they were mean geeks. You've never seen people bite heads off chickens with such ferocity,
such disdain for the chicken.
Do you know what? That is probably a relative obscure reference these days. Has geek? I mean, when I was a kid, geek had probably surpassed the fact where people knew what a geek was, right?
I think like after 1945 that happened.
The Spielberg movie?
Well, like the idea of being a chicken head biter.
I just know that society did change after the Steven Spielberg movie 1945 in all kinds of ways that we haven't yet accounted for. You know, oh, it's called 1941. Shit. You ruined it, facts.
Oh, I thought you were like referring to like this. I'm like, did Spielberg make a movie called Geek about a chicken biter?
No, for a minute I thought that movie was called 1945, but it's 1941. The like probably the worst Spielberg movie, right? I've seen Ready Player One.
Ooh, shots fired. I still haven't seen that.
Have you ever had like
a
drawer full of like just geek and nerd shit and accidentally send it falling down the stairs and just flying everywhere? If you have, you've seen Ready Player One.
Let's see here.
It's not terrible.
Super Macho Jedi Knight says geek went out of common parlance in 1952. That's not true. I don't know that. We'll go with it. I'm okay with it. Fact? Sure.
So while we're on the subject, what's your least favorite Steven Spielberg movie? Let's rag
My
on
least favorite what?
Spielberg movie. Let's rag on Spielberg. Successful bastard. Love you, Steve. Keep cracking out those hits.
I didn't particularly care for AI.
Have I told you the story about when I went to see AI at the theaters?
Probably, but I don't remember.
So when I went to see AI at the theaters, it's a pretty long movie, right? It's not the kind of movie anybody wants to see in the cinema, really, you know? And we get to the end, and it's that bit where he's underwater, and he's saying, "Blue fairy, make me a real boy. Blue fairy, make me a real boy. Blue fairy, make me a real boy." And eventually, like, the sculpture of the blue fairy turns and looks at him, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And all in all, this has been a fairly silent showing in the theater for a while. And just like three rows back, I just heard a voice go, "Ha, ha, ha, ha." And then silence again.
I remember I watched AI at my dad's house, and this was after my parents had divorced. And
had they divorced?
Staying at my dad's place.
Had they divorced at the beginning of the movie AI?
Oh, looks like I cut out.
Hey, Johnny, you're back. Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you, John. Oh, he's gone.
Oh, I'm back.
So, we lost my terrific joke. I was saying, had they divorced at the beginning of the movie AI?
Yeah, they divorced at the beginning, and then the movie ran long enough that they could work out the custody battle. My dad moved out, and then I went and visited him before the third act.
He was like, "So what are you doing these days, sonny boy?" "Well, you know."
Still watching AI!
Jude Law just got picked up in a helicopter and flown off. It's a long movie.
So I remember I was at his place, and I was already kind of upset because like I wasn't hanging out with my friends that weekend. I was in that obligation to go visit my dad, sort of thing. And I remember watching this movie, and I sit through the whole thing, and then my dad is not in the room the whole time. He's off doing something else. He comes in after the movie over. It's like, "Oh, so what'd you like it?" I'm like, "I don't remember anything." Like I had blanked out and thought about all the fun I could have been having with my friends, and just angrily watched AI the whole, like, watching this terrible freaking movie. Could be out riding bikes and playing ball with my friends. But no, here I am watching AI.
I think the problem with AI is it's clearly just a ripoff of Daryl. There we go.
Yeah.
That's an obscure one. Do you guys remember the movie Daryl? Do you guys don't remember this? No? Anyone? Beulah?
No.
Beulah? So Daryl was it Daryl? Maybe it was Darren. Oh, okay. So, no, it's Daryl. Okay. Daryl was a movie, but it was like D.A.R.Y.L. And it stood for Data Analyzing Robot Youth Life Form. according to the Wikipedia article I've just looked up to confirm the movie Daryl existed. It was basically...
Are you gonna read the wiki to us?
No, but it was basically the same premise. There was a robot, and he was a robot capable of loving a family. But it was a really shit movie. But I'm sure AI is like an okay movie, right? I'm sure it's fine, really. I haven't seen it in a long time. I found it very boring.
It's visually stunning. It's very visually nice.
I agree. But there's a hell of a lot of actual tonal and structural and plot overlaps with this really terrible movie, Daryl. So all the while I'm watching it, I'm like...
Pinocchio?
Sure, but Daryl is explicitly a movie about a robot, right? So all the time I'm watching it, I'm like, this is like this movie Daryl, and Daryl was terrible. Does that mean this is also terrible? I can't tell. So in my mind, whenever I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh, do you remember that scene where they're like driving in the car and the car crashes and then the boy... And then I'm like, no, that's not AI, that's Daryl. Do you remember that scene where they ask him his favorite flavors and he says he really likes chocolate and they're like, robots shouldn't like chocolate. And I'm like, wait a minute, no, that's Daryl again.
So I'm gonna give everyone a little bit of a heads up. It has started to seriously storm around me.
Oh yeah.
So there is always a possibility that my power goes out. And...
Well, this is pretty standard. This is how we've ended most streams with you in the last 6 months.
I want to do a bit for this show that we haven't done in a long time.
All right.
So back in the good old days of the podcast, when we were doing a podcast, we used to have actual segments to our show where we talk about like a pop culture thing.
Like an orange baby.
Yeah.
Or like an orange baby.
Because
they have segments. It's not that obscure a reference, John. Come on.
That babies are segmented?
Well, yeah. Like... legs, arms, spleen. You can divide them up if you try hard enough.
What?
No, I'm suggesting oranges are segmented, John.
Okay. I mean, I'm on board with the segmented baby. Don't get me wrong.
It sounds like an invention from the 1930s. The segmented baby. Are you having trouble locating your baby?
Are you tired of your baby being in one piece? Try segmented baby.
Try World War II. Sorry, veterans of World War II, who I'm sure are really fond of our show.
The last surviving ones, like, hey!
We do get a lot of letters like, where am I? And have you seen my medication? And do you know where my dentures are? Are you my grandson Billy?
Oddly enough, we get a lot of emails like, the biscuits are on the top shelf and I need help reaching them.
Yeah. You promised
to explain to him.
You promised you would do it.
Biscuits.
You promised you would do it on your next visit, Jimmy.
Yeah, I'll get it next time.
Every time. I like those college humor videos. If Google was a guy.
Oh yeah.
And it's that one old guy who just says, "My grandson Nathan." My grandson Nathan. Facebook.
All right. So one of our segments that we used to do was funny news stories from we discovered there was a town in Wisconsin that for some reason has an odd amount of weird police reports. They're not necessarily weird crimes, but the way that they're written as in the police report and given to the newspaper are always really strange.
Right. This was a good segment. I enjoyed it.
Okay. And in preparation for this episode, I went off and found some that I thought were kind of humorous from the lovely town of Marshfield, Wisconsin.
Back to Marshfield. Yeah.
We're going back to Marshfield.
Last train to Marshfield.
All right. This is from the Marshfield News Herald. 11 a.m.
Ooh, should
Saturday.
I try my new thing where I can actually put things on the screen? Should I do this? I don't know.
Well, I would if I actually had the link.
Oh, I can Google it. I'm gonna Google it. Oh, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We'll do it next.
Yeah.
We'll do it right next
Yeah.
time, John.
We'll do it live.
Yeah. We are live.
No, what?
But we are live, so we could do that. Doing it now, we'd be
What?
doing it live. What are you talking about, John?
We're live?
Yeah.
No. Okay. Marshfield News Herald. 11:30 a.m. Saturday. An Abbotsford man.
Dun, dun,
God damn it.
dun. You knew it was coming.
An Abbotsford man reported a suspected drunk driver who hit a mailbox. The driver was not impaired.
No, he was aiming for the mailbox the whole way.
Yeah, he just has a real fucking grudge with that one mailbox.
Well, it says hit. It doesn't say drove into. Maybe he like drove up, got out,
Well, he said...
and just got back in and drove off.
FedEx for life! Bam!
Yeah.
I just do like that they had to specify at the end, like, nah, he was fine. He's just an asshole.
And then he put the little like the little flag up on the mailbox and was like, "Yeah, this now contains some whoop ass mail." Oh, I don't know how they work. We don't have mailboxes like that here.
Yeah. No, that would be great if it was one of the mailboxes that are like attached to the wall of a house.
Don't you guys just have the letterboxes in the door? Isn't that the easiest way to get post?
Well, yes and no. I think some people still do have like mail slots. But most people just have a box that's at like the front of their lawn.
Why?
Because it's easier for the delivery person.
No, it's not.
They don't have to get out of the truck. They just like drive up to it, throw it in, and then drive on.
They can drive up to the mailbox.
That was the joke I was trying to make about this guy. He said the mailbox is actually attached to the wall. That's what they're leaving out of the report.
They went through 3 houses.
Suspected drunk driver plows through the living room of a local man's house.
Man drives over garden gnome.
Mailbox.
Man drives over garden gnome. It's like the last item on a 99 item spree. Well, he did hit the gnome.
Yeah. Like a massive like serial killer just sprays blood all over a wall. Local man vandalizes building.
Yeah, I like these sort of these lies of omission. Like, wouldn't it be great if it was like, man kills animal on road in hit and run incident, and then you find out later with no explanation it was like a blue whale. Like, what? And he was driving like a snowplow in summer.
It's like, man drives erratically in school zone. He's a bus driver.
Stops at several destinations, waiting outside houses, observing the occupants.
Man caught placing strange packages into people's mailboxes.
It's Amazon. Tiny Biscuits says, then the mailman has to walk far, and this is why America has an obesity issue.
Yeah, because we're all male people. Shit, I missed my last shift. Well, that card from Aunt Susan ain't coming. Kaylee says it's because delivery person are lazy as fuck.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So I got another one here. This one I thought was actually really funny. Just because, once again, it's not telling you the whole story, but you can kind of pick up what actually happened. So here, 10:33 a.m. Sunday. A Marshfield man. A Marshfield man reported someone stole an iPad, a wooden box with a dragon decal, books, and dice from his vehicle in the 300 block of West Blogdit Street.
Did he blog it?
That sounds like some guy was just pissed off at his DM. Right? TPK motherfucker.
I like the idea that
we were level 2. We weren't ready for the beholder. We weren't ready.
This also sounds vaguely like it belongs in like the plot to an episode of Buffy. Like he's keeping it in the box with the dragon decal, with his iPad, and some dice.
I mean, yeah, that does actually sound like the beginning of a Uncharted game.
It's sort of like the last 5 minutes of a Jumanji movie. Like, what you don't know is that inside the box he had an enchanted board game, and he's just spent the last 6 weeks trying to escape it. And he put it in his car where he thought it was safe. Now it's passed on to some other unlucky soul for a movie in about 3 decades' time. You know what I mean?
Right. It's like, man steals box out of car. In an unrelated incident, car ran off road by a rhino, hits mailbox.
Right. Rhino unharmed.
Kaylee asks, "Hey John, do you live on 123 Playground Street? Or excuse me, 123 Playground Stret?" Nah.
Oh, here's a really good example, by the way. I'm on the Marshfield News Herald website. I haven't actually got to the right page yet. But here's a really, really good example of like the lie of omission. There was a preview of an article that said, "Police name man accused of setting fire to bed." And I was like, all right, that's okay. And then when you click the article,
he did. Woo!
When you click the article, it says, "Police name man accused of setting fire to bed in Stevens Point as 2 people slept." I'm like, okay, yeah, all right, that's a little more serious. I found the story here.
Jesus.
Yeah, why emphasize the setting fire to bed? Why not put, of murdering 2 people? That is what he did. Well, if they died, I didn't check. Two people told officers they woke up, found their bed on fire, and extinguished the flames. They found 2 more fires at the top of the stairs and on a clothes hamper. All the fires were put out before emergency crews arrived. Oh, okay. I kind of like that phrase. They woke up, saw they were on fire, put the fire
out. Yeah. Had a polite conversation with the arsonist afterwards. Like, what are you doing, man? I don't know. Starting a fire. Why? I don't know.
And just as he went away, all you could hear is... Oh, my fire starter. Twisted instigator.
Now, this one's kind of strange to me. It feels like a failure on the police. Okay. 6:14, Friday. A caller reported someone was trying to break into a home in the 300 block of the West Arnold Street. Police arrested a 52-year-old Marshfield man on suspicion of disorderly conduct. Really? I might have gone for the breaking and entering thing. Just maybe.
Well, have you ever seen that? Have you ever seen those? Did you get those shows that got like Most Wanted? But it's often something like security footage of like an armed robbery, and they're like, we're seeking. Mm-hmm. I always like the ones where the security footage comes in and the guy comes in, like points the gun at the cashier, starts grabbing all the stuff at the shelves, and then they show like a close up of his face from the security camera, and they say, "We're looking for any information about this man who we'd like to speak to in connection with a robbery." I'm like, but we just saw him do it. in connection to he did the crimes. We saw him do the crimes on the TV.
I just like the idea of like that's like the laziest cop in the world, where he's like, he comes across the same guy hunched over a body, right, who's screaming, and he's holding a knife in his hand. He's like, we booked him on disorderly conduct. He was kind of, creating a bit of a disturbance.
Well, he was.
I'm not wrong. Read the definition of the law.
Look, no one's come in with a complaint of murder. But the guy's dead. Who's gonna complain? Look. You might not know.
Guy? He was kind of a prick.
You might not know about the law, right? But if there's no complaint, then there's no crime. Is how the law works. It's illegal. He did the crimes.
Yeah, but he murdered that person in a very orderly fashion, okay?
I
got nothing on him. He's free to go.
Yeah, I'm a peacekeeper, not, a law enforcer.
I still love that fact that there are some places in this country where the police officers, their official title is still peacekeeper or peace officer.
Peace officer is always funny because it sounds like people who can't pronounce police officer.
Right. It's like the the abbot from Princess Bride was doing the commencement speech at the police academy. And you will go out and be amazing police officers. What? Police officers. Marriage.
Super Macho Jedi Knight says, kind of a murder without a witness. Case dismissed.